Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World. It's the 1971 Kennedy half dollars, and so this is actually, we know this is from the Philadelphia Mint. We know there's no mint mark there, and if we tip it up a little bit we can see the mint mark to be right in here, and you can actually see it on this one. That's a Denver Mint one there. Well, what happened was in 1965 they took the mint marks off all of the coins. So in 1965, 66, in 1967, all no mint mark coins on them. So you couldn't tell Philly, Denver, San Francisco, you couldn't tell any because there was no mint marks on them. Then in 1968, they started putting mint marks back on the coins again. But for the half dollars, they only made Denver and San Francisco. So there's no Philadelphia or blank coins for 68, 69, and 70. In 1971, the Philadelphia blank no mint mark finally returned to the Kennedy half dollar. Kind of a trade-off though, because what would you rather have, the 40% silver from 1970 or the no mint mark Philly from 1971? I think I'd go with the 40% silver, because what happened with the Kennedy half was 64, they made it 90% silver. 65 through 70, they made it 40% silver. And then in 1971, they ended the silver Kennedy halves, and we went to the copper nickel clad copper halves. This is a 75% nickel, 25% copper cladding on the outside, and then on the inside it's pure copper on the inside. So this Kennedy half, we can see if we blow it up, we see pretty nice D, kind of a little testy there, and then there's a G and an R intertwined there, and that's for Gilroy Roberts, designer of this coin in 1965, which coincidentally was the year that Gilroy Roberts retired as chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. He came out, went out with a great coin. It says Liberty around the top. Some of the letters are in Kennedy's hair. On this particular one, pretty good quality here in terms of for half dollars, but half dollar quality is not that high. So if you can get one of these in an MS65 or above, you could be talking about some real money, because they just kind of clang them around when they make them. And even in 1971, they're making a lot. They made 155 million. 155.6 million at the Philadelphia Mint and 302 million at the Denver Mint. Essentially $500 million almost between the two. You get up to MS63 and you might be talking about $3 to $4. MS65 you're talking about $17 to $20. Now there was a San Francisco Mint coin that came out in 1971 also, a proof coin, and they made 3.244 million of those. And at proof 65 it's worth about $5, and I guess you could say only about $5 for a proof 65 coin. So you were back to the ones where you want to get them in a general circulation at MS65 if you want to make the big bucks. Now, something else happened in 1971 besides the silver going from the Kennedy halves and the Philadelphia Mint coming back online, and that was a new coin came out. And this is it right here. And this, of course, is the Eisenhower dollar. Dwight D. Eisenhower says Liberty around the top. He doesn't have that much hair, so it's not, his hair's not getting in the way of the Liberty. Underneath his chin it says "In God We Trust." If we flip it up right here, we see there are two initials there, an F and a G for Frank Gasparro. Oddly enough, the same FG initials that we have right here on the back for Frank Gasparro on the half. So Frank Gasparro in 1971 was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, and he came out with this coin in 1971, kind of riffing a little bit off his eagle. And what do I mean by riffing a little bit off his eagle for the Kennedy half? I mean, whoa. So 1971, this came out. The U.S. had just landed on the moon in 1969, and so Frank Gasparro, and we also see that he has the engraving initials on the back, FG for Frank Gasparro. The eagle with this is one of the ones with all the islands kind of to the east of Miami rather than underneath the Caribbean islands here. Frank Gasparro, within 2 years, was able to come up with this design for the Eisenhower dollar, and it's just a beautiful design. The eagle landing on the moon, holding olive branches where you can actually see some of the olives there. Not sure how well olives or eagles do in space. They certainly see, this one certainly seems to be flying well. And down underneath you can see the craters of the moon. So this coin came out in 1971, and of course this one came out in a Philadelphia and a Denver version too. And when we look at these, we see that these, you notice these are a little bit cloudy. These came from an uncirculated mint set, and sometimes the plastic puts a little cloud on these. If you ever get one of these, don't clean it, leave it like this if you ever want to get it graded, because actually when we look at the two of these, see how much nicer this is in the hair and the way this, so this is a much better quality coin than this one. Even though they're both kind of foggy, you can tell the way this pushes through a little bit here. All right, well, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. Look for the D, look for the no mint mark P from 1971 in the Kennedy half-dollar coins.